With the 74th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Pat Bryant, wide receiver, Illinois.
Pat Bryant with the 10th pick of the 3rd round, wide receiver out of Illinois. I think this is where these picks started to feel like reaches relative to the board, and maybe it didn't feel as great for the Broncos.
I think, yeah, the where these guys were drafted relative to consensus, I think triggered some people. Pat Bryant in particular is one of the sort of, 15 biggest reaches in this draft, quote unquote, relative to the consensus board, according to Arif Hassan's work. So I think that kind of thing triggered people a little bit. But Mike Silver has an article, I think, at The Athletic, where he was sort of embedded in the Jacksonville war room, during the draft. And they were targeting RJ Harvey. They were targeting Pat Bryant. Like, Jacksonville wanted a couple of the players that Denver grabbed. Now, not necessarily exactly where Denver grabbed them, and that's where the reach thing comes in. But I think overall, they've gotten some nice players, and you can just quibble with the value of each one a little bit.
Right, Braden Fisk, where the Rams moved up 12 spots, 15 spots. It wasn't massive, and gave up an entire 2nd-round pick next year without really there may have been a pick swap, but it was low. That's a massive investment in TeSlaa, who's a fun player.
It is, and it was such a massive investment. So I like picks like this, not because I like picks like this from a selfish point of view, because it's such an amount to give up that it makes me go, huh. Obviously they really value him. Let's go and watch him again. Because, we're watching a ton of players. Sometimes you don't give a guy a fair crack, or you just don't see it the first time around. So I'm like, let's go and watch some Isaac TeSlaa to see what we were missing. Because
with the 80th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Justin Walley, defensive back, Minnesota, for the shoe.
Back to the
Justin Walley. There are so many things to like about his game. I think the footwork is excellent. I think the recognition is excellent. He plays very sound and fun with his fundamentals. The only thing is, he's not super strong. He's very lean, and you can see that at the catch point. You can see that when he's tackling. But my goodness, the movement skills are fantastic for this guy. And so he moves like an NFL corner. So I even like this bet to make. What we think about this one, Dalton?
I'm in between on this. I think it got a B- from our staff because we were a little lower on Walley and Travis, right? I think they were lower on your board, certainly, than 3rd and 4th round picks. But I got to be honest with you. It's hard for me not to look at the Tyler Warren pick as maybe my favorite pick in the entire draft. And I know, there was always a possibility because their talents are relatively even that Loveland could go ahead of Warren. But I think it was a blessing in disguise.
With that being said, we have a trade. The Minnesota Vikings have traded the 97th pick to the Houston Texans. And with the 97th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Jaylin Smith, defensive back, Southern California.
And Jaylin Smith, one of the more versatile defensive backs, can literally play any of the positions in the secondary. Outside corner, inside at nickel, back at safety. He's got experience across the board. He's someone who's going to be very involved in the sub-packages early in his career.
3rd round, they reunited the Cyclones duo, wide receiver Jalen Knoll from Iowa State as well, and then the 3rd round, cornerback Jaylin Smith from USC.
I think the first 3 picks I really, really love. The rest of it, I think Smith was an overdraft.
The Jaylin Smith, I thought he was drafted way too early, but it's sort of like the Texans just can't help themselves to getting defensive backs that they like. I think that Jalen Reed is kind of the same thing as well.
Hey, Nick.
What's going on?
This is John Lynch from the 49ers. We're going to make you a Niner, buddy. You play our style, and we can't wait to get you here, buddy.
Oh, yeah, man.
You fired up?
I'm ready to get to work.
All right.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's go. Here's Coach Shanahan.
3rd rounder, a pair of guys that they're really taking big-time bets on. Nick Martin, the linebacker from Oklahoma State, and then Upton Stout, the versatile defensive back from Western Kentucky. Our staff at PFF gave this a D. This is the lowest grade that we had for any team. And a big reason why is because a lot of the players that they drafted, major outliers from where we had them on our big board, how they are built as football players when it comes to the outliers of them physically, height, weight, and length. And then also just failing to address the offensive line at all whatsoever. Now,
I look at these 2 third-round picks. Nick Martin was a guy, personally, I'm not sure I would have drafted. And Upton Stout, to me, was probably a 6th or 7th round guy. I think a good player, but you have to really be concerned a little bit, to me, with some of the values in the mid-rounds.